Am I the jerk for changing the locks after my roommate posted my grandma's secret recipe online? My name's Dylan, I'm 26, and I've split a 2-bedroom apartment with my roommate Priya for almost 3 years. We got along great. She cooked, I cleaned, we split rent down the middle, and honestly I thought we were close enough that I trusted her with things I wouldn't trust most people with. That's where this whole mess started. My grandmother, who passed 4 years ago, ran a tiny family restaurant for almost 30 years. The one thing that made that restaurant special was her spice blend for her braised short rib stew. She never wrote it down for anyone outside the family. Not once, not for reporters, not for the regulars who begged every single week. Before she died, she handed me a battered spiral notebook with the recipe in her handwriting and made me promise it would stay inside the family. My aunt runs the restaurant now, and that recipe is still the reason people drive 40 minutes out of their way to eat there. I kept that notebook on my bookshelf, tucked between 2 cookbooks, not exactly hidden but not exactly advertised either. About 3 weeks ago, Priya was looking for a cookbook to borrow while I was at work and she found it. She read through it, thought it was fascinating, and apparently thought it would make great content. She's been trying to grow a food blog and an Instagram page for over a year now, and it hasn't been going anywhere. So she photographed every page, wrote up a whole story about a mystery family recipe passed down for generations, and posted it. She did credit me by first name only, but she posted the exact measurements, the exact spice ratios, everything. I found out because my cousin sent me a screenshot with 3 exclamation points. My aunt called me almost in tears. She built her whole business around that dish, being something you could only get at her restaurant, and now anyone with an oven could recreate it at home for free. Comments were already flooding in, people tagging their friends, someone even tagged the restaurant's page asking if they'd finally revealed the secret. I confronted Priya the second I got home. She seemed genuinely stunned that I was upset, insisted she thought of it as sharing something beautiful, and pointed out that the post already had 12,000 likes and was the best performing thing she'd ever posted. She refused to take it down right away, saying she'd already promised her followers a follow-up post about the family behind the recipe, meaning mine. I told her to delete it immediately, or I was done trusting her in this apartment. She deleted it that night, but by then it had been screenshotted and reposted dozens of times across at least 4 other accounts. There was no putting it back in the bottle. The next morning, still furious and honestly a little scared of what else she might poke through, I went to the hardware store and had both locks changed, then let her know afterward that she'd need to ask me before going into my room from now on, cookbook shelf included. She lost it, called me paranoid and controlling, and said one mistake shouldn't undo 3 years of trust. My best friend thinks I overreacted and should have just asked her to promise instead. My aunt thinks I let this happen by keeping something that valuable in a shared space at all. Priya's now telling mutual friends I humiliated her over what she calls a harmless recipe post, and half our friend group has started tiptoeing around inviting us to the same gatherings. I get that changing the locks was a strong move for a roommate situation, and maybe it did feel like a punishment. But I also can't shake the feeling that if she'd go through my things and give away something that wasn't hers to give away, I don't actually know what boundary she'd respect next time. Now our lease renewal is coming up in 6 weeks, and neither of us has brought it up, which feels like its own answer. Am I the jerk, or was locking her out of my space a fair response to losing something my family can never really get back?